Hello everyone and welcome to another live from the workshop, and today we're going to be doing another Dalek custom, but this one we're going to be doing something a little bit different with an Ironside Dalek, because I don't really know where this idea came from. I've been watching a bit of Dad's Army recently and a few other sort of wartime things, so maybe that's what's brought it into mind. But one of the things that when I was looking over my spare parts, and I had a couple of Ironside Daleks spare, and when I was looking over my collection and I looked at it, and one of the ones that always stood out to me was the one with the light covers, which obviously, you know, wartime Blackout makes sense. And it just sort of, I thought, what if there was a Blackout? I was about to say stealth, but it wouldn't be stealth. Well, it would be stealth, but it'd be more a Blackout Dalek. Ironside Dalek, maybe, that could have been seen in the episode, one that's basically got the sort of wartime black livery paint, kind of like they used to have on steam locomotives during the war in England. So essentially what I'm going to do really is paint a Ironside Dalek black, but I've got a couple of other little changes and things that I'm gonna make to it, just to try and make it that little bit more unique as well. But yeah, it's pretty much just a case of getting on to painting it black. So let's get on with it. And so here we have the finished Blackout Dalek. You know, this is normally where I'd say I'm really pleased with how this came out, and I am, but this is another one of those ones that it's come out so much better than I thought it was going to. I really am pleased with this. You know, the idea in my head was just one of those things that it looked quite good, but the realization of it here has come out so much better than I thought it would. It absolutely does look brilliant. Really proud of this one. So I don't know how well it comes up on camera, but I will say as well, the webbing is a darker grey rather than a plain black. I originally did consider doing it as a whole black, but it just, I don't think it would have looked right. It would have looked more too much like I had just painted the whole thing black, and I wanted to have the webbing to have a little bit more colour to it, just to give it a bit more depth on its colour scheme, because obviously it is meant to be overall just plain black. I'm sure that I did consider, and I'm sure some people would say that I could have done it perhaps in a more sort of a metallic black, but again, I wanted to adhere to some sort of regulations for Blackout paint colour schemes, as it were, because those who do know, in the UK, the Blackout colour schemes, it was a matte black rather than a shiny or metallic black, because a shiny metallic black would have reflected light. So by having it a plain matte black, it just does, it's more accurate, but I think it does look better than it being an overall, you know, a shiny metallic or gloss black. So overall, it is just your standard. Ironside Dalek. But there's a couple of little differences. Obviously, the appendages. The gun is one that I have previously used on my customs for the reconnaissance Dalek from the Gallifrey War Room, Big Finish figures that I made. That was designed, as some of you will know, by James Johnson, aka the Pridonian, on Twitter. And his little description of that particular gun is that it has this attachment on the end that acts as a kind of focuser, but also a silencer. And so I just figured that, you know, it makes sense that a Blackout Dalek, you know, it is meant to be more sort of kind of stealthy and, you know, less obvious to be seen. So the idea that it would reduce the beam of light but also silence the shot, I thought makes more sense that it would be on this version. And then also as well, obviously, as you can see, it has, as it comes around, it has a different claw attachment. This particular claw attachment is loosely based off the concept art versions that were seen were concepted up as concept art for Victory of the Daleks, for the Paradigm Dalek as an alternative attachment. Obviously they were never used on screen, but I like the idea that it was sort of, it fitted in, you know, the fact that it was Victory of the Daleks, and so I thought that was a good one to do. And again, I don't know why, but I just thought it should have something a little bit different rather than the plunger, because, you know, maybe if this is a Dalek that's meant to be off on, you know, stealthy reconnaissance sort of missions, you know, and covert missions, it would need more, you know, appendages to pick things up rather than just sort of have the usual sucker attachment. But there is one more little detail that I have made on this, for which I'm going to do a quick close-up on the head to show you all. And that little change, as you can see here, is the eye stalk now has a kind of cowling cover. Now the idea for this, again, this is meant to be a Blackout Dalek, so you know, the fact that it had the dome-like covers would make sense for the fact that it's a Blackout Dalek. You know, it wouldn't be showing lights. But then it occurred to me as well that the eye stalk has an illumination. So, given the fact that even a torch from just a small handheld torch was considered too much light, it made sense that the eye stalk would be rather considered a beacon of light as well. So I thought what I would do is put this kind of cowling cover on it that was akin to the kind of light covers that were seen on cars and other transport during the war years. It's kind of difficult to capture on camera, but unfortunately you can't see it, but there are gaps in it, and I have painted the inside of the eye light blue, because obviously this is a 3D printed eye light rather than a 3D printed eye stalk, rather than a one that I've adapted, a standard one. But, you know, I think it does work really well, and again, it just makes it look that little bit different and really sort of adds to the Blackout theme, as it were. And I think actually at this point, again, I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but you can see at this sort of angle the difference as well between the colour scheme of the matte black and the more darker grey of the webbing, which I think looks really good, and again just gives it that little bit more depth. And finally here, just for the sake of having a little bit of a comparison, here is how it looks alongside the other Ironside Daleks. Obviously we've got the standard one on the left. Obviously the one on the right is a standard one, but the one on the right also has the light covers. I do also have the version with the tea tray as well. But you know, I haven't included that because it does just have a tea tray. I mean, to be fair, I could have just included one of these, given that one of them just has the light covers. But yeah, I think it looks really good. I keep going to say he. I think it looks really good alongside the other ones here. It really does look the part, and I think it's one of those things that it's certainly a simple, but I think really effective idea. And whilst I think it's highly unlikely we would ever see the Ironsides back again, for obvious reasons, you know, we don't get to see them that much in the episode, but given the fact that the Doctor arrives sometime after he first gets the call from Churchill, perhaps there could be some stories in there somewhere, and if that's the case, then this is definitely one that I would like to see in there somewhere. Big Finish, if you're interested in the use of this Dalek for a cover, give me a call. I don't know why I just did the phone thing with my hand, because you can't see me. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this, and I would certainly love to see this appear in some shape or form in future. But that brings to a close another live from the workshop. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. And be sure to description below for a link to my Patreon. I'm doing my very first figure animation and you can get involved. There's exclusive content and rewards for those who do so, and funding my Patreon in any way gets your name at the end of my videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.